Okay, we are back. Today I'd like to continue our series of Vulnhub. The virtual machine would be LemonSqueezy 1. I will add the link into the description section below so that you can download this virtual machine. Before we begin today's video, if you don't mind, please subscribe to my channel. I do appreciate your help and support. And also leave a like below if you don't mind as well. So now, without further ado, let's just get started. To save time, I have already imported the virtual machine into the VMware workstation. Just instructed by the author. This is the VMware machine, and DHCP is enabled. So now we can go inside the Linux virtual machine. As you can see, I have already identified the IP address of the virtual machine as 149. And then I did the nmap scanning, I did the scene scan, the version scan, and the default script scan. And then the option of -P- stands for comprehensive scan or full range port scan, and output in natural format to this file. From the nmap scanning results, as you can see, there is just only one open port. The port number is 80, which is running HTTP service, and also the actual version information. So now it's time to make furthermore enumeration for the 80 port, both manually and automatically. Let's open up our browser and let's put the IP address of the virtual machine or target into the address field or bar. And this is the default Apache 2 page, and nothing important here. And as usual, we need to check the source code of this page, but you cannot find anything useful. And also we can check whether this site has robots file configured, but not found. Then we need to use some automation tool like Ligato. This is my first tool when I do the web application enumeration, and specify the IP address of the target. Let's hit enter. The Ligato not only can identify the common directories and also some files, but also can give some information about the architecture or its corresponding vulnerability if it has. So we wait for this to be completed to see whether we can find something. But so far, nothing here. As you can see, just some very common or standard directory like menu, icons. But as you can see, the Ligato has already located the PHP myadmin directory. We can access this directory, and we can try like some weak password like root. The password is also password, but failed. So I think this PHP myadmin application doesn't have weak credential vulnerability or misconfigurations, if you could call it. So now I think, we have got a very important result from the Ligato. Then we can use the GoBuster. Let's hit enter. Yeah, immediately we got another directory besides some common files or directories, which is WordPress. So let's access this directory, WordPress. Let's hit enter. Yeah, as you can see, I think we need to refresh, and we need to add this host name into the host file. Make a copy. Maybe there's some cache inside the browser, because I did this virtual machine 7 minutes ago, and I can use the sudo VM, and we can put the IP address and the host. Okay, I think when you do this virtual machine the first time, you maybe find that the page cannot be loaded properly. Before we need to add the host record into this file. Okay, so now it's okay. Next, because the site is WordPress, naturally we can use the WordPress again to make some immersion. WordPress. The option is E. E stands for immersion. U stands for username. P means plugins. As you can see, has already identified the users and the 2 users. We can try to crack the password for the first user. You know, in many cases, the first username which is identified is always administrator, and administrator, of course, certainly administrator will have more privilege than normal user, like editor, like a subscriber, right? And we can arrange. And the word list I'd like to use is locune. Let's hit enter. Yeah, immediately we got the valid compilations. So we can log in. Of course, you also can crack the password for another user, Lemon. But I can tell you, you will fail. You cannot crack the password for another user or Lemon. To save time, I will not do that. Okay, so I think now we have already got the password for the origin, and now we can log in with this password, Ginger. Let's hit enter. Don't save. Yeah, so from the left section we can confirm that we are, I mean the we here is the user origin, is not administrator, because in this part doesn't have the like a user, which only administrator user can have such information. Anyway, we can navigate to the posts, and here there is one job not published. If we click, here is password. And because from the Nmap scanner results, there is just only one open port, which is 80. So what about these passwords? The first assumption for me, when I did it the first time, the password is used by another user. Of course, you can try login with Lemon and this user, but you will not succeed. So what can we do? You remember that PHP admin, you know that? Maybe the origin is also the user, right? We can origin, and we can copy the password, go. So yeah, we successfully log in to the PHP MyAdmin application. So far, this is the very big step. And what we are going to do next is to upload or write backdoor file, the PHP backdoor file. And because so far we have already got the access to the PHP MyAdmin, in other words, its database, so we can write the backdoor file into the database. The way I'd like to demonstrate now, we can set up like create a new table. Name we can call it like one, and we can run the circle query, and we can run this select query, and the name, the backdoor file, I'd like to name it as web shell. Of course, you can call it whatever you wish. And this is the content of this file. And the CMD is a parameter. And by executing this select query, the content will be written into the file, and the file name is the web shell. And of course, we have already got the path of this file under the WordPress directory. So let's hit go. No error. Now we can set up. Not set up the listener. WordPress and web shell PHP. We can pass parameter ID. As you can see, we can run command. Next, we need to get the reverse shell, right? And we can run which netcat. Netcat is installed on the target. So next will be very easy. We can set up the listener. Now we can run bin bash, the IP address of the Kali Linux, and the port number. Let's hit enter. As you can see, we got the collection from the target. And we can make this interactive by run Python. The module would be pty or sudo terminal spawn bin bash. Okay, and next we need to do some local immersion, and there is just only one user. And here there is one directory which is SSH, but we didn't have permission to navigate into this directory. So what we can do, we can navigate to the www directory. There is user flag. Yeah, so what can we do now? Maybe we can upgrade this shell to the metasploit, right? And we can go to the, of course, you can also upgrade the Nimpiers shell script onto the virtual machine and run this. But I can tell you, I cannot get very useful exploit. Yeah, there is some local, and maybe we can do it now. Okay, I can show you. Because the Nimpiers shell script is very powerful when we do the local privilege escalation. We can Python, and now we can download from the Kali Linux, and we can make it executable. And now we can run this shell linear shell script. And this shell script will go through all possible vulnerabilities and also misconfigurations, and also can help us to identify some files which has credentials. Of course, we have already got some passwords like database collection credentials, but I think at this point such information is not very important. Okay, it's completed, and let's scrub up to the top. Yeah, because nothing here. Yeah, useful software, the user's information, IP address, port number, which are running, the cronjob. Here, there's some local privilege escalation vulnerability. Of course, we can use this exploit to elevate our privilege, but for me, you know, the metasploit is very, I think it's most powerful. If by running linear shell script, and this script has already told us there's some local vulnerabilities, but I always use the metasploit to see whether the metasploit can be working for such exploits. And then if it's not working, and then I will come back to attempt to use this exploit. Okay, so now I'd like to use the MSF volume to create the payload, the metasploit payload. And at the same time, we can launch another tab. Launch the metasploit console with quite a model, and then we can upload this payload onto the target. Okay, and we need to make it oh, sorry, not I have already upload linear shell script before. This time we need to upload the escalate. Okay, and make it executable. But before we hit enter, we need to set up the handler first. We can use the exploit multi-handler, and we can set the payload. The payload should be the same as this one when we create the payload with MSF volume. We can paste in here, and we can show options. Set a localhost to Kali Linux, and the port number should be same as this one, which is 8080 and 8888, and let's run. Already? Oh, because I have already uploaded another. Sorry about that. Because the first time I have already uploaded the escalate payload before. Anyway, the result will be the same. So now we can background, and we can search suggester, and then we can use this module And we can show options. Also, we can set the sessions to 1. Let's hit enter. Yeah, this local exploit suggester will look for all possible vulnerabilities, and also it will check the feasibility or possibility of such exploitation. You know, I like metasploit, the local privilege exploit module very, very much. Always it will be my first order module when I do the local privilege escalation. If it fails, and then I will switch over to the exploit and use it manually. But if I can use the automatic module, of course this will be the first option. This which can make the job a whole lot easier, right? As you can see, the target appears to be vulnerable, and the target is vulnerable. Okay. For me, I always I'd like to use the first exploit module. If it fails, we can turn to other modules. You know, penetration is just some sort of the try and test technique or process, right? We can use this module and show options. We can set the localhost to our Kali Linux, but this time we need to set the local port to different port number, like 999. And we need to set the session number to 1. This time we just got one metasploit session, right? And we can hit run. Yeah, the target appears to be vulnerable. Yeah, metasploit session 2. We can sessions. This is metasploit. We just go to the shell, open the shell session ID. As you can see, we have already become the root user. We can navigate to root directory, and we can cut the root flag here. Okay, so that's all I'd like to go through this virtual machine. I hope you can enjoy the whole process of my demonstration for this virtual machine. And see you in the next video. Bye.